皆さん、こんにちは。また、レイに来ていただいております。旅の続きを聞きますね。Okay. I said, I'm going to ask you more about your trip.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, actually, from Spain, and then I will ask about Morocco, but Spain, how long did you stay?
Spain, I stayed about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Mhm.
What did you do?
Well, when I first got there, I slept because I was very tired.
Yeah.
But I did a quick walk around the city. And so while I was there, I was still working. So I had to, for most of my days, I would explore the city from, around like 9 a.m. to around 6 p.m.
Mm.
And then from 6 p.m. to around 2 a.m. I would work. Um,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it was a lot of work. Fortunately, I work on
Computer?
computer, so it's super simple. But
But you had to work until 2 a.m.
usually around I would try to monitor emails and stuff around from around 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. because the time difference in LA. So
Well, but it's wonderful. You can just go somewhere else and then you can still do your work.
yes, yeah, I was very fortunate to be able to do that.
Then, during the daytime, you walked around and then that was, which city was it?
It was Barcelona, which is
Barcelona.
the northeast part of Spain. It's very close to France.
Yes, then
Mhm.
I don't remember. That's the place. There is a huge church.
Sure, yeah, the Sagrada Familia.
Yes, yes.
It's very beautiful.
You went there?
That was the first day I was there. I saw it in the distance and I said, I'm going to go see that. So,
So you went?
Mhm. Yes.
Wow, please tell us. It's a big area.
Yeah, and it's right in the middle of the city. The good part about Barcelona is it's very walkable. It's all very condensed. So yeah, you can get to almost anywhere. So when I saw it, I walked over there and it's just beautiful and ornate. And they haven't finished building it yet. I think they're going to try within the next 10 years, they're going to try to finish it.
Oh, next 10 years.
I hope they've been building it for like 80 something years. So
Yes.
probably longer than they might have been building it for like 100 years. They've been building it for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's giant and just beautiful. I didn't go inside, but I did see it, and it was from the outside, it was stunning. So, mhm.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Well, if you go there, I'm afraid you have to look up all the time.
Yeah, yeah. There's just all the big giant buildings, and yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
And is there any path that you can walk around to look up? Or it's under the construction?
No, you can get close. They're building, but they're mainly building the upper parts of the building. So the ground is completely accessible. You can walk all the way around it. You can get close to it, and like I said, you can even go inside if you want. So
Oh, so it means like a lower part is completed.
yeah, yes, very much so.
So they were working on the top area.
To make it even taller, so you have to look even higher up.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, the taller is harder to work, right?
Yeah, they have big cranes. They have giant cranes that'll get up there. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Well, that was last November, so still, COVID was going on. And did you see many people or not? Not.
No, there were still a lot of people because Spain was very good with their vaccination rates. And to get into Spain, you had to prove that you're vaccinated. You had to show all that kind of stuff. And Spain, you didn't have to take a test at all, but you still had to show that you were vaccinated. And a lot of the people that
You have to show you are vaccinated.
yeah,
Yes,
and a lot of people were still wearing masks even outside. It was kind of up to you whether or not you wanted to wear one. Inside you had to wear one, but outside you could walk around without one if you wanted. So
I see. Wow, I'm glad it was like that.
they were very cool about it. And it was actually quite easy to get into Spain. I was surprised. I just showed them that one card, and I was able to get in. So
Yeah. Well then, Harvard restaurant, they opened.
yeah, almost all of them. Spain, uh, they pretty much kept most of their restaurants open. So you could go in, like I said, they would usually want you to wear a mask, and then once you sit down, you can take it off and eat. But yeah, almost every place I saw was open.
I see. How about language? Which language did you use?
So in school I learned Spanish, and I was able to get by with the Spanish I spoke. Most people there spoke English, but there were a couple of situations in which I had to speak Spanish to get out of the situation, and it worked. I was able to get through. So
Wow. Well, did you say you learned Spanish in high school?
mhm.
What's the reason you chose Spanish?
It was between Spanish and French, and living in America, it seemed more like Spanish would be easier or more useful, I should say.
Useful. Yes, yes.
Yeah, because we have, especially where I grew up in Florida, we have huge Hispanic populations that speak Spanish. So, yeah,
So were you a good student in Spanish class?
not really, but playing soccer, being in school, uh, being surrounded by it all the time, I learned it quite I learned, a bit of it. I'm still not fluent, but I can get by.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
wonderful. Yes. Well, so in Spanish, did you visit somewhere else? I mean, besides this, well, famous church.
Yes, there are a lot of places in Barcelona to go see. They have Park Güell, which is a beautiful park built by the same person who built the church.
Really?
Yes, his name is Gaudi.
Yeah, Gaudi.
Yeah, so I visited that. I went to the Gothic Quarter, which is where all the old buildings are at, and they have more big churches which are beautiful. And that's all in Barcelona. And then I also went to Ronda, which is it's a city about 3 hours south of Madrid. And it's a beautiful old, I think it's an 18th century city where they used to do bullfighting. So they have a big old bullfighting ring there, which I checked out, and they have a big old beautiful bridge, um, which is called Puente Viejo, which is the old bridge, and you can see that. And then I went up to Madrid for a few days
Yes.
and saw the whole capital city, so it was very beautiful.
About bullfighting.
Mhm.
Bullfighting means somebody is having a red cloth and then the cow comes
Mhm.
and then it's
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah,
they're still doing
they do it in some parts of Spain. They don't do it in Ronda anymore, and I
that?
think they still do it in some parts of Spain, but I think they've shut it down for the most part.
Oh, I've heard some area they don't do it anymore.
Yeah, which is how I prefer it. I mean,
Me too.
but it's cool to see the old buildings dedicated to it.
Yes.
It's a lot of ceremony behind it, so
Oh, so you mean that particular area is reserved, although they don't do the show,
yes,
but
it's
you
more like a museum at
oh
this
you
point. Mhm.
so you can go and take a look at it.
Yeah, and you can walk on the clay surface or maybe the dirt surface, maybe it's not clay, but you could walk on the surface where they would used to do it. And then on the insides, they have all the old artifacts. So like the old clothing that they would wear and some of the old, swords and stuff. So it's very cool.
It was famous. Yeah, it was famous. Yes, and then I'd like to ask you about drinks like liquors. Do they drink a lot of wines or uh, like a whiskey or what kind of drinks they drink while eating?
In Spain, it seems more like they do wines.
Wines.
I didn't drink much. I had one glass just to see what it was all about, and it was very good. But they primarily drink wine and sangria, it seems like.
Sangria.
Yeah, sangria.
I know. It has salt around the no?
No, that might be margarita. I'm not. Yes, that's more of a party drink. There you go. No, sangria is kind of like a wine, but I believe it's sweeter. It's more fruity.
I see, I see. Yeah. I don't know anything about
Do you know the margarita?
yeah, margarita. But margarita it has salt around
Mhm.
the edge, right?
Yeah, and then you put a lime in there.
Oh, why salt? It's better.
I think it has something to do with the flavor. Yeah, I think the lime and the salt. I've never had one, so I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
never.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to the restaurant in Spain, for instance,
Mhm.
the waiter or waitress comes,
Mhm.
and then you can speak Spanish, but if I go, can I say in English?
Of course.
Oh.
Yeah, and especially at a restaurant, they're used to international
Mm.
customers, and that's the primary language for the international community is English. So if you're going back and forth, you can always say, "Excuse me, I only speak English," and then they'll switch over for you.
I see, I see.
Mhm.
Well, when you have a menu,
Mhm.
does it say in English or no?
Some of them, a
Oh,
lot of them no, though. A lot of them are only in Spanish. So
oh, then how could you decide? Oh, can you understand just reading Spanish what kind of food?
some words, if I understand the words or if I had a question, you can always ask the waiter or the waitress, and they'll point you out. So
I see, I
they'll
see.
point it out. They'll give you hey, this is what this is, and they can even give you recommendations
Mm,
based on what you like.
mm. And uh, you are supposed to give tips.
In Europe, no. In Europe, no. The waiters don't rely on tips. So you pay whatever the meal costs, and that's it.
Really?
hmm
Oh my
And it's a
God.
lot more convenient because they have the card readers. They'll bring them over to you. You just have to tap your card on it, and it'll read it. And since I was paying in dollars,
Mm.
it'll convert it automatically to euros. I could choose which one I wanted to pay in, and it'll
Oh,
convert automatically.
you mean you can use dollars?
Mhm.
You don't have to exchange?
No, no, it would automatically do it. Now, I did bring some with me, some euros with me, already exchanged, but it was easy to just use the card, and it just automatically converted.
Card. You can use card.
hmm
I
Yes.
see. But if you want to take euro, you could get one in America?
Yeah, so usually you can just reach out to your bank and you can tell them in advance, I need this kind of currency, and they'll get it to you. They'll mail it to you, or you can come pick it up.
I see. Hmm. And when you were walking around, the, you never got lost?
No, I had Google Maps for. I'm also good with directions, and Barcelona is a really well laid out city, so it's easy to kind of find your way around the city. It's a very good pattern. It's super easy to follow.
You, what do you mean there is a sign or there is a directions? What do you mean?
It's just it's well laid out on a map, so you can kind of tell where you're at all times. I could tell how far away I was from my home, and then there are certain tall buildings that's if I saw that Sagrada Familia, I knew, okay, I need to go this way to get to my house. Because I could see the Sagrada Familia is here, the church is here, and then my place is over here.
I
So,
see. Well, I don't know this is in Spain or Italy or I don't remember, but I heard you have to be careful, like pick pickpocket. Pick.
yeah, pickpocket, yeah, that's the word.
Okay. Did did you feel you have to worry about that?
Not at all. Not
Not at all.
not in the part of Spain that I was in. I don't know if it's a problem in other parts.
Mm.
Where I was at, it didn't seem like it was an issue at all.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they were. It was everybody there was super cool.
Mm.
Yeah, and it was very safe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I've heard this kind of thing. If you have a backpack,
hmm
somebody just cut with knife
Oh no.
backpack
hmm
and then get something. Well,
I could see that. Fortunately, I don't think they would do that in your or Spain at least. I don't think most people have knives anyway. But yeah, it felt super safe.
mm,
And I usually walked around with a backpack, and I didn't have any issues.
you don't take backpack?
No, I had one with my camera in it at most times, and I didn't have any issues. So,
Oh, you didn't have any issues.
Mhm.
That's good.
Mhm.
You didn't have to worry about these things.
I didn't feel like I needed to. It felt very safe.
That's wonderful. Yes. Um, I think I've heard something negative about the trip.
That's usually what you hear. You usually hear the negative things, but there are a lot of positives as well.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. So, if somebody asks you, what was the best part in your trip? What would you say?
hmm. I would just say that the entire city of Barcelona, I enjoyed that part of my stay the most. It was very cool to see the different places in Morocco that I visited, the small villages I'd go to or the bigger cities. Those were beautiful, but all in all, Barcelona was a beautiful city and I really enjoyed staying there.
Good. I'm glad.
Mhm.
And then that's the place you stayed the most.
Luckily, yes.
Yes.
I was glad to have picked that place.
Right. And the following day, you flew to London, right?
Mhm.
Uh, how was the airport, it's totally different kind. I mean, the atmosphere or people's attitude. How was it at the airport?
It's the airports aren't. It's hard to describe, but they're similar, but they're the way that they're run is a lot different. So when you get your plane ticket, you won't know which gate you'll be at until like 30 minutes before the flight
Oh,
because different airlines rent different gates depending on how easy it's going to be for them to get. So you're kind of waiting to see which gate you're going to be at. And then depending on what kind of passport you have, if you're a European citizen of the European Union, it's easier to move between the countries. But if you have a US passport, there's more that you have to do.
oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Mhm.
Well, how can you figure it out? Somebody will tell you or announce?
Yeah, they'll announce it around 30 minutes before the flight. You just have to pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do they say in English too?
It's primarily they'll always have subtitles in English, or I shouldn't say subtitles. They'll always have writing in English.
Mm.
Um, it's so for the Spanish airport, they would have it in Catalonian, which is the Barcelona dialect. They would have it in Spanish,
Oh, yeah.
and then they'd have it in English. Yeah.
I see. Oh, anyway, as long as you are careful to listen to the announcement, then you can find out which gate you go.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, or like I said, just read the signs. You get your flight number, look at the signs, and then they'll change it.
mm, I see. Well, London, that was how. What kind of feeling did you have? I mean, British people is kind of not square, but serious or compared to Spanish people.
Yeah, Spanish, it was definitely more laid back. I didn't really interact with many people in London, only because I was with my friend and we were trying to see as much of the city as we could in one day.
Yeah.
So it was very rushed,
Mm.
but it was very nice. Everybody there that I did interact with, super nice, and I didn't have any issues with anyone.
Good,
So,
good.
yeah,
I'm glad to
yeah.
hear that.
After being in Spain for 2 weeks, it was nice to be able to speak English, fluently with everything.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Of course.
I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you stayed in London. One night?
Just one night, yeah.
One night, yes. So Spain and England, and then you came back to Spain?
Yeah, for a couple of days I went
Ah,
to Spain.
Then you went to Morocco. Yeah. Morocco, how many days did you stay?
I stayed there 3 days total.
3 days. Wow. Then what kind of thing did you see?
So when I first got there, I stayed in a very specific hotel called a Riad,
Oh,
which is a,
yeah.
they're like a Moroccan type of hotel where it's very plain on the outside, but very elegant on the inside, very beautifully decorated on the inside. They've got like a courtyard in the middle.
Yeah,
So I stayed
yes.
there for my first day, and then I went and visited a place called Ait Ben Haddou, which is an old city, like a 7th century city, built out. It's very beautiful. It's been in movies like The Gladiator. It was in Game of Thrones.
Gladiator too? I mean, Gladiator.
Yeah, the original Gladiator. Yes, and it was absolutely beautiful there. I went up into the mountains, and then down into there was another village in the north part that I went and visited. Yeah, it was a very beautiful place.
When you say Gladiator, they use the kind of stadium type of thing?
Kind of. It wasn't. It was the earlier part in the movie. There's a part where Russell Crowe
Yes.
gets picked up and brought into. He's brought in by the Arab slave traders.
Yeah.
And he is forced to fight, and that's kind of where they put that. They built the set around inside, and it was just a small stadium. And yeah, they fought there. It was very cool.
Wow. So you knew that movie, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure you could enjoy more than me.
Yes, yeah. It was after I had gone to that place, I went back and rewatched the movie, and I was able to see it, and it was very cool.
Good. Yeah. Well, I watched preview and I was just so scared
Yeah.
by fighting.
It's a lot of fighting, yeah.
So I didn't watch it. But it's a good movie, I heard.
Very good movie. It's one of his best, yeah. Russell Crowe.
Really?
I think so. I think it was really well done.
Well, then someday I should watch.
You gotta
My
great.
goodness. Excuse me. Thank you so much, Elaine.
Of course.
Everybody, I completely forgot the time.
Oh, you're done.
Well, then see you again. Goodbye.
Bye.